Hello and welcome to another IFSCA Live. Here we are again. Uh, Today we're going to talk about protector concerns, what it is, how to address them. And after we talk about this, as usual, if folks have questions, then we'll open up for questions. So one of the most important skills that we have to learn in the IFS process is how to address protector concerns. And protectors, they have concerns usually about the process, but these concerns they might also be connected to the experience they had in the past. But usually what happens is, let's say we are here with the part, we're communicating, and something happens in the process, and the protector comes and says, and does something, maybe comes and blocks or dissociates the client somehow. Stops us from going forward and continuing what we're doing in that process. And oftentimes what's happening is that protector believes that if we continue in the direction that we are going, something bad's going to happen. There are a number of different concerns that protectors might hold. Some of the more common ones are the client is going to be overwhelmed if you listen to that part, or if you go ahead in this way. That other part is going to take over the system if I give you some space. Or there's not enough self-energy here to go there. What we are holding there is big, and if you go, it's going to be too much. You don't have enough self-energy to deal with that and handle it. Or you, the therapist or the coach, you don't have enough self-energy. You're not here with me. You're distracted. You're not paying attention to me. You don't really care about me. Or if you go ahead and you connect to these parts and return inwards, firefighters will be more active. And oftentimes we hear from clients, now things are calmer and I just want to enjoy this moment of peace. And if we go poking around in there, maybe I'll lose that peace and calm that I have right now. So addressing concerns reminds me a little bit of like making a choice to go to the dentist, which is not fun, but it's like, it's what we have to do. It's better if we do it that way. And it's our job in this process to help protectors understand that actually going forward is what's best. That being said, we want to make sure that we don't just ignore what the protectors are saying, because a lot of times they have wisdom. They have things that they're saying that we need to listen so that the process can stay safe. For example, if let's say we're working with a client, there's this big trauma piece that we're going towards, right? We're trying to connect with these parts holding that trauma. And the part comes in and says something that gives us a sense that there's not enough self-energy in the client. If we ignore that part and we just go ahead, it could be too much. And the client might not have enough self-energy to deal with it. But if we stop and say, okay, not enough self-energy, it could be that there's a part here that's blended with the client. Client, are you noticing any parts blended with you right now? Any parts that are maybe like pushing for the process to go forward faster than it is going right now? Anything like that happening? And then as that part comes into awareness and we work with it and it softens, there's more self-energy and now more ability to go to that big traumatic piece that we wanted to go towards. So protectors are our allies in the process. And that's why we should approach them and approach addressing concerns that they have as a conversation. Like, I'm not going to push for anything, but how about this? Does this help you feel safer? And whenever I'm addressing a concern, if the protector is not sold on the idea and like it doesn't feel actually safe to go forward, I don't want to go forward, because it's not going to be a helpful process and something bad's going to happen if we keep going. That's why as we are addressing concerns, we have to be very mindful of other parts that are in the vicinity to make sure that there are no parts that are pushing the process forward. Because let's say here we are getting to know a part, blocking part comes, stop. We say, hey, blocking part, is it okay if we go ahead? And then the self-like protector comes and says, oh yeah, the blocking part is not here anymore, but it actually pushed it away. And now you're going forward. Number one, that self-like part is going to have to stay here to make sure that the blocking part is not here. So already there's no direct communication with parts anymore. It's being filtered by the parts that are having to manage the situation here. And it could be that you get to a place and you listen to something and a part comes to the surface of awareness holding so much that because we don't have enough self-energy now, it's going to be overwhelming, and you might even re-traumatize the client. So when we address concerns, we want to make sure that only what's real happens here, right? So if I say part, how about this? If, can we make it safe this way? And the part says, I'm not so sure, then I want to hear more. How come? Tell me more. What's happening there? So that's hard to do, right? Because oftentimes when protectors come and stop the process, very close by, we have parts that are frustrated by this protector stopping it. This is the most common dynamic we have in IFS. Blocking part comes, frustrated part comes. And this is something that we have to learn how to work through, because if we blend with the frustrated part and we become focused on moving ahead and we take on that agenda of moving ahead, the blocking part is going to resist even more. And then you're gonna, as the therapist or the coach, you're going to feel like you're not doing a good job. The client's going to be discouraged. They might even feel like they're making a mistake, that like they're not being a good client, that they don't know how to do this. And a number of other parts might come. And before you know, you have a whole bunch of different parts. The whole thing is very chaotic, and you don't understand what's happening. But all that happened was you took on the agenda of a part in the client system, and you let that part of you that resonated with that part in the client get into a parts system that's driving the process. So addressing protector concerns needs to be 100% of the time a self-led process. If it's not self-led, stop. Don't do it. Something's happening. Either you need to unblend from your parts, or the client needs to unblend from their parts, and then we can continue. So some of the common concerns that we have. The client's going to be overwhelmed if you go and talk to that other part. There are a number of different ways that we can address this concern. For example, we could say, hey, can we talk to the other part, and if it agrees to go slow, would you feel safe then for us to talk to it? Or we could say, protector, could you titrate? So you will see that each of these concerns has a way of addressing them. And there are some go-to ways of addressing concerns that we learn. If you've taken stepping stones, you've seen Derek and how he does some of them. But you can also get creative with this. You can try different things that come to you intuitively and see what works, because addressing concerns is not about you as a therapist or the coach getting it right. It's like, hey, have you considered this? If we do it this way, how would you feel? No? Oh, okay. How about this way? No? Oh, okay. How about this way? Oh, this way works? Okay, great. Can we do it this way? So there's no pressure really on us to get it right. We are in a dialogue, and it's a negotiation, and it's a negotiation in good faith. Um, so definitely use your creativity to do it. Don't shy away from trying different things out. And as you do it, you're going to see that there are certain ways of addressing concerns that work better than others, and some ways that work better for some clients and others that work better for other clients. That being said, a great factor in the effectiveness of addressing concerns is your confidence. And the only way that you can really become confident is that you believe what you are saying, you have experience, that you know it's true, you're not selling something that's going to be bad for that part or the client. You're being honest about the possibilities. For example, sometimes protectors have the concern that firefighters will be more active. I would never say, oh no, don't worry about it. Firefighters will not be more active. I promise that. I cannot promise that. Actually, it happens often. So why, if firefighters might be more active by us going deeper into into the system and talking to these parts, why are we choosing to do it? And the reason why we are choosing to do it is because firefighters will become active anyways. At some point, life has a way of bringing them to the surface, and it's hard to avoid. And the only solution that's a permanent solution, that's a long-term permanent solution, is we go to the exile, we help it heal, and then we go back to the firefighter and we help it shift what it does, or the intensity with which it does what it does. So it's a long-term benefit, even though in the shorter term, over the next few days, the client might actually be more sensitive. And it's important to be honest, because I want to say to my client, yes, it's true, you might be more sensitive, your firefighters might be more active. Here's what we can do about that. Can we talk to your firefighters and let them know, hey, the exile is going to be closer to the surface, but you don't need to worry about it. It's intentional that we are inviting it to come. Can you take a little break, or can you go a little bit easier on doing what you do while we are in this process? Or the other thing is, client, because the exile is going to need more attention so that your firefighters don't have to work so hard. Can you make the commitment, as we are going through this phase where your system is going to be more sensitive? Can you make the commitment to just do a daily parts check and just connect with your parts for a few minutes every day and just see if they need you and what they need? Because if they have you, then the firefighters don't have to be as active to push those exiles away. Um, so I hope this has been helpful to you, because addressing protector concerns is one of the key skills that we need in IFS. If we don't know how to address a concern, what's going to happen is the whole process is going to slow um, a lot, because what you're going to have to do is every new protector that comes, you will have to develop a whole relationship. Hey, protector, tell me about what happened to you. You're going to have to do a lot of witnessing with each of the protectors that shows up, because you cannot ask them to do it in a different way or coach them in a way that makes it feel safe. Um, so I hope this has been helpful. If you have any questions, you can post them in the chat, it could be about this specific topic, about how to address protector concerns. Maybe you want to name one of the concerns that you've been struggling with, and we can talk about it. Or you might have general questions about IFS, and if you want to ask those questions, feel free to post them in the chat. One last thing I'll say about addressing concerns is there are a few go-to strategies, and sometimes if we use one strategy that works with one protector, it might not work as well with another protector. For example, if a protector is concerned that what it shares is embarrassing, might be embarrassing, and we say, okay, how about this? You don't need part that will be embarrassed. You don't need to be here to listen to what's going to be shared. That could work very well for that part. But if another part comes and says, you don't have enough self-energy, I'm concerned about this, and we say to the part, you don't have to be here, it's going to be even more alarmed, because it's going to be like, if I'm not here, it's going to be even less safe. So the way we address one concern is not going to work necessarily. It might even backfire for a different type of concern, right? So if we are addressing embarrassment, shame, it can be helpful to say to the part that will be embarrassed by listening to something or remembering something, you don't have to be here, or also you don't have to tell me everything. Me as the therapist or the coach, you don't have to share everything with me. So that can also help. Oh yeah, and the last thing really about addressing concerns is, once protectors feel appreciated and understood, then almost all the time they're going to be more connected to self-energy and trust, and naturally soften back. So one way to address concerns is to, when you hear the concern, say, client, does that make sense to you? And if the client says yes, say, let the protector know that you get that. And as the client says, hey, protector, I get this. I get why you're worried about this. The protector goes like, oh, someone else gets this. I'm not alone having to take care of this, which is great. Then they feel safe, and sometimes they naturally just soften back and open the way for you to go talk to the exile or the other part that you're trying to connect with. Okay, so any questions, any comments? How is this landing for folks? Feel free to post that in the chat. If not, that will be it for our live today. You see that there are still folks joining us. We were just talking about addressing protector concerns. And by the way, you can send, if you want to send questions for me to answer, you can send questions to my email. And I'm going to put my email in the chat. So you can send questions to my email, and I will answer them when I'm here. And you can also just come and make comments. And if you want to watch something and you got here late and you want to watch, you can just go back and watch, because they get recorded, so you get to watch the parts that you haven't watched yet. Okay, so I think that's it for today. I hope that was helpful. Send me an email and let me know, and I will see you all next time. Bye-bye.